Good afternoon, good evening, all. It's Bear here. And I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel, aboxwithnolid, a channel I'm creating not just to build the awareness and the understandings around the reality of what it's like to live with complex trauma, but I also want to get into the mechanics behind it, to build the awareness and the understandings too, so that you can actually start a path of healing, of actually not just managing, but actively pursuing a path that helps you to heal. Now, this is the following video from the last one, and as I said in the last one, which there's a lot of information that I tried to cram into an 11-minute video of what is it like to, what does it mean to actually heal trauma, and what needs to happen, and what is going to go on as we try to heal trauma. Now, in this video, I want to first get the understanding of that to heal trauma, as I said in the previous one, we're trying to herd 50 feral cats in one direction. And what I mean by that, each cat represents a component associated with a part of us that is within its own ecology, responding to threat and trying to do its part to promote our survival. There are so many layers to healing trauma within our body. There's cognitive, there's conscious, there's subconscious, and there's non-conscious. All of the cognitive aspects, all of the conscious and subconscious aspects are the layers we work on so that we can alter the non-conscious, the autonomic components of threat response. They're non-conscious because we cannot consciously access them. They are there to interpret our world, and they're designed from the standpoint that if a real threat, like if we're walking down a trail and a predator animal comes along, we don't have time to, one, work out what that animal is, what it's going to do. We just need to react. That's the driving force behind the autonomic threat response and assessments and all these sorts of things. And we know when we've gone through, prolonged traumatic experiences, early childhood, pre-verbal and complex, so forth, that system gets heightened and ingrained as a primary base for how we live our life and interpret our world. And a large part of that base, we also have what we've inherited epigenetically. If our ancestors have been in high threat, high stress environments, we are more genetically predispositioned. Our body cells are designed to be in that environment generationally. And that basically, in a very simplistic way, makes up what we're actually trying to change if we want to heal trauma. We're trying to teach the parts of us that we can access and influence to be able to alter how the parts that we can't interpret everything. That, in a nutshell, is what we're trying to do to heal trauma. To not manage it, but to actually heal it. And how we do that is by changing the environment, by getting those 50 cats, feral cats, working together incrementally, step by step by step by step by step. And gradually those feral cats become part of a community of cats. And they start to work together. And there is a hierarchical structure because our ecology has a hierarchical structure. There are organs that are less critical to our survival, and there are organs that are completely critical to our survival. It's the same kind of a way of doing things. It's not that different parts are more important. It's just the roles that these aspects play. So if we look at it like we're trying to get these 50 cats going in the direction that we want them to, we need to find the ones that are the actual leaders. The ones that are parts of our critical systems that undermine the parts that are easier to work with. The reason the Western world throws everything at counselors to fix is because that's the cognitive part. That's the easy part. It's just talking. The role a counselor plays in healing trauma is the exact same role back in the old world. We would go and seek advice from an elder, from a grandma or a grandpa, or an auntie, an uncle, on what's going on and what do we need to do and where do we need to go. That's the role a counselor plays. And they would help us to make sense of what it is we're actually seeking, and then help us find the direction to go to get what we need to actually achieve what it is we're trying to achieve. In a Western construct, what we need access to beyond that point, because in the old world, the auntie or the uncle would direct us towards a medicine person, a herbalist, a healer within our community or in a nearby community that has the knowledge and the resources to work with this stuff. That will work with your body, your nervous system, and your soul, your spirit, your personality, everything that you are, for however long it takes to get you to this place where you are ready to learn a new way of being. And then you would be guided back to your community where they would step in and teach you and support you in relearning that new way of being. That is how we heal trauma. Several videos ago, I talked about how the basis of how I believe we can heal trauma and where it comes from. And it's when I was talking with a grandma back in Canada on community, and we were talking about how we actually would heal. This is part of a family violence conference, of how we could actually heal community. And she was talking about how back in the old world, in the old way of her nation, people that have gone through really bad things, they would go through months of being held and touched by every member of that community. You 24/7. You don't go to the bathroom by yourself. You don't eat, sleep by yourself. You are constantly being held and touched and nurtured by every member physically within that community 24/7 for months. That is how we heal it. Because that is what you do for an infant, a newborn, and raise them up to be a good, functional, happy, and healthy adult, is they are part of and constantly are reassured that they are part of. They are constantly comforted and taught, and they also learn how to be part of. Now, in a westernized construct, if we had that constantly being touched, the sexualizational aspect will come into play, and that's why this doesn't work and it falls down. I'm aware of this, but we can still use this as a guide of what's needed. As screwed up as we've made our world and our societies, our body still requires those same things to heal. And in the up and coming videos, as I step out this whole process of what it actually looks like and what we need to heal from trauma, it will not change just because of how our society views things. And all it is intended as a guide of, well, this is the reality of what we need to find solutions for. I'm not intending these as solutions. This is just what is needed, what we need, what you need to find in your own world and your own ecologies around you, what you have the ability and access to meet those needs, because this is what we're designed and how we are created to heal. With all of this in mind, getting those 50 cats pointed in one direction and working as a team, that is the mindset that we have if we really want to heal trauma. This is also why society goes to managing trauma, because they all go, you can't do it. You can. But it takes patience, it takes self-discipline, it takes understanding, and it takes the will to actually do it. And it also takes the support of the environment and the ecologies around us, the people around us. So a large part of those 50 cats are all connected to our attachment trauma. And that's why I've said in numerous videos, the first part we look at is how do we heal, how we connect and interpret and interact with people. And we bring in that component, and we bring in supporting our digestive system. We bring in creating a safer environment in our immediate surroundings where we are our sanctuary, and make that as supportive and productive as possible. Those are the first cats we start with. Getting those ones associated with that and around that, connecting and working with that base. And then we step out from there. But as I said, the whole point of this video is understanding that we've got to get all the 50 cats working together in one direction, not work with a couple and go 20 steps ahead with those, because the ones back here will undo that work at some point. And this is not a criticism of any modality or anything like that. This is just a reality of what I've seen over 30 years of being around this stuff. Is, you know, you make great leaps and bounds in one area, the other areas will hobble you and eventually undo that hard work. So it's getting this understanding that we need to work with all the different components, move a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, and we just slowly nudge all of them, teaching them that they can move together. Understanding and learning the hierarchical structure of those 50 cats, our 50 cats. This is not one rule for all. Each person has these metaphorical 50 cats, and they're all ours. In each group of 50 cats is unique to the person that they are. So we need to learn our particular understanding of those 50 cats. I wish they were dogs, but they're cats. Why? Because cats play in two different worlds, and they definitely have a mind of their own. So in understanding that can help you work out what it is you need to the environment you need and the resources you need to move your healing forward. As always, I love your guys' comments and feedback. Please be mindful, please be safe, please be respectful, and I'll see you all next time. Hope.